Welcome to Earthborn Valor, where humanity meets the unknown. In today's story, a young human faces a mysterious alien woman who asks the strangest question of all. You mean human males have milk too? What begins as curiosity soon turns into suspense, danger, and a battle that could decide the future of two worlds. If you love thrilling HFY sci-fi stories filled with twists, romance, and powerful emotions, then you're in the right place. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to Earthborn Valor, and hit the bell icon so you never miss the next epic chapter. The night sky was never silent anymore. Strange lights burned above Earth, not like stars, not like planes, but living ships moving like predators in the ocean. For weeks people whispered about them, called them angels, demons, or invaders. No one truly knew what they wanted until they spoke. They didn't speak through radios or television. They landed their ships in ruined cities and opened their mouths in voices that shook the ground. Their words were sharp, cold, and carried only one message: surrender or be erased. In a small town far away from the first landings, a young man named Daniel stood at the edge of a broken highway. He had never held a weapon in his life. He was not a soldier, not a leader, just an ordinary human. But tonight even the ordinary were being asked to fight. Daniel looked at the horizon. Flames danced where his city once stood. Smoke climbed high into the clouds, hiding the stars. He whispered to himself, "So this is how it begins." Suddenly the ground trembled. From the forest came the sound of trees snapping, as if something huge was moving through them. Daniel's heart raced. He grabbed a broken metal pipe from the ground, his only weapon, and then he saw her. An alien figure stepped out of the shadows. She was tall, her skin glowing faint silver under the moonlight, her eyes shining like molten gold. Her movements were graceful, but her presence was heavy, like a storm pressing on his chest. She was not like the creatures on the news who had burned cities. She looked different, curious. For a long moment, the two of them only stared. Then she tilted her head, studying him as if he were some rare animal. Her lips moved slowly, testing human words she had never spoken before. "You mean human males have milk too?" she asked, her voice strange but clear. Daniel froze. His mind went blank. Of all the questions he expected from an alien in the middle of a war, this was not one. He took a step back, gripping his pipe tighter. What are you talking about?" She came closer. The air around her shimmered like invisible energy radiated from her skin. Her hand reached toward him, not in anger but in wonder. She was curious, almost innocent, but her curiosity was dangerous. Daniel knew that one wrong move could make her an enemy. In the distance, the sound of explosions shook the ground again. The war was moving closer. Soldiers would soon flood this area, and if they found Daniel standing here with an alien, no one would ask questions. The alien girl's golden eyes did not leave him. Human males are strange, weak but strong, fragile but unbroken. Her voice trembled as if she was fighting against something inside her. "Why do you resist?" "Why not kneel?" Daniel swallowed hard. His voice cracked, but he forced the words out. "Because this is our world. We don't kneel to strangers." For the first time she smiled. It was not cruel, not mocking, but almost sad. "Then maybe I chose the wrong side." Before Daniel could speak, a thunderous roar filled the sky. Enemy ships were descending. Their weapons glowed bright red, aiming straight for the forest. The war had arrived at his doorstep. The alien girl grabbed his arm. Her touch was hot, burning like fire. "Run," she whispered. "Or fight. But decide now, because when the first shot falls, nothing will ever be the same." Daniel looked at the falling lights, then at her golden eyes. His chest tightened. In that single heartbeat, he understood. This was not just a war for survival. This was the beginning of something stranger, something that would change both humans and aliens forever. And so, the unexpected war began. The sky split open with fire. Red beams from alien ships rained down on the forest, tearing trees apart like dry paper. Daniel ducked behind a broken log, his hands shaking as the earth shook beneath him. The alien girl was still standing, golden eyes glowing, her silver skin reflecting the fire above. She did not look afraid, only conflicted. Daniel's chest pounded. He wanted to run. Every part of him screamed to escape. But her hand was still gripping his arm, holding him down. Her strength was terrifying, like steel wrapped in silk. He could not break free even if he tried. "Why are you holding me?" he shouted over the roar, her lips pressed tight. "Because if you run alone, you will die. And if I let you go, I will be forced to kill you." The words cut deeper than the fire in the sky. She was not threatening him, she was warning him. Daniel stared at her, trying to see past her strange golden eyes. Was she his enemy? Or something else entirely? Above them, 3 alien hunters dropped from a ship, landing in the burning forest like shadows with blades. They were taller than her, their armor black like midnight, their faces hidden by masks. They moved with the silence of assassins. Daniel froze. His breath caught in his throat. The alien girl's grip tightened. Her voice lowered, trembling. "They are my kind, but they are not my allies," Daniel blinked. "Then whose side are you on?" She looked at him, almost desperate, as the hunters drew closer. "I don't know anymore." The hunters spread out, their weapons glowing. One of them hissed words in a strange tongue. Another raised a scanner that beeped louder as it pointed at Daniel. The third pointed a long spear of energy directly at his chest. Daniel's heart almost stopped. He was nothing. Just a human with a broken pipe. Yet here he was, standing before 3 alien killers. The girl suddenly pushed him down, stepping in front of him. Her body blocked their view, her golden eyes burning with fire. She shouted something in their language, her voice echoing like thunder through the flames. The hunters froze, their masks tilting toward her. For a moment, Daniel thought they might listen. But then the leader hissed back in rage and swung his spear at her. In a flash, she moved. Her body twisted like lightning, her hand catching the spear mid-swing. Sparks exploded as metal clashed with her skin. Daniel's eyes widened. She was fast, too fast, faster than anything human. With one motion, she snapped the spear in half and drove the broken end into the hunter's chest. The masked alien screamed, collapsing into the dirt. Daniel's jaw dropped. She had just killed her own kind. The other 2 hunters roared and attacked together. One slashed with a blade, the other fired a burst of red energy. Daniel ducked behind the log again, his heart hammering. He peeked over in time to see her leap into the air, spinning with deadly grace. The energy beam missed her by inches. Her foot slammed into the hunter's chest, sending him flying into a burning tree. But the last one caught her arm with his blade, cutting deep. She gasped, silver blood spilling across her glowing skin. Daniel felt something burn inside him. Fear tried to chain him, but something stronger rose, anger. She had saved him. She was bleeding for him, and he could not just hide anymore. He grabbed the broken pipe, his hands trembling, and charged. The hunter turned too late. Daniel swung with all his strength, smashing the metal pipe across the alien's mask. Sparks exploded. The hunter stumbled back, stunned. The girl ripped free from his grip and drove her glowing hand into his chest. The forest shook with the sound of cracking armor. The hunter fell, lifeless. For a long moment, silence returned. Only fire and smoke moved around them. Daniel's chest heaved. His pipe slipped from his hand, his body weak with exhaustion. He stared at the dead hunters, then at the alien girl. She was bleeding, her silver blood shining like molten steel, but her golden eyes still burned bright. "You fought them," Daniel whispered. She turned toward him, her voice heavy. "I fought myself," Daniel frowned. "What do you mean?" She touched the wound on her arm, wincing. "I was born to serve them, to destroy your kind, to erase your world. But when I saw you, I hesitated. I don't understand why. You are weak. You are fragile. Yet you refuse to kneel. That confuses me." Daniel shook his head. "We're not weak. We're just stubborn." Her lips curved into a small, strange smile. "Stubbornness. Maybe that is your weapon." But before they could speak more, a voice echoed through the forest, deep and metallic. It came from the ship above, carried through speakers that rattled the trees. "Betrayer. You cannot hide." Daniel's blood turned cold. He looked up. More ships were descending. Their lights turned the forest red, shadows stretching like claws. The alien girl's face darkened. Fear, real fear, flashed across her golden eyes for the first time. She grabbed Daniel's arm again, pulling him toward the darkness of the deeper woods. "Run," she whispered. "Because now, they hunt us both." Daniel stumbled after her, the fire behind them, the unknown ahead. He did not know where she was taking him. He did not know if he could trust her. But one thing was clear. He was no longer part of a war he barely understood. He was now part of something much bigger, something that would decide the fate of humans and aliens alike, and the shadows of the forest had only just begun to whisper their secrets. The forest grew darker the deeper they ran. Smoke from burning trees wrapped the night like a black curtain, and the air stank of ash and blood. Daniel stumbled over roots and broken branches, his breath sharp in his chest. The alien girl never slowed, pulling him forward with inhuman strength. Her golden eyes glowed in the shadows, guiding them like lanterns. Behind them, the sky rumbled. Ships circled above, their red searchlights cutting through the forest, hunting like giant predators. Voices boomed again, deep and metallic. Betrayer. Surrender yourself, or be erased. Daniel's legs screamed with pain, but fear forced him to keep moving. He glanced at her arm, where silver blood still dripped from the wound. You're hurt. You need to stop. Her voice was sharp, almost angry. If I stop, we die. If I bleed, I still fight. Keep running. Her words were fire, and they burned away his weakness. He pushed forward, even as his lungs begged him to fall. Suddenly, a beam of red light sliced the ground ahead, exploding a tree into splinters. Daniel fell backward, his ears ringing. From the smoke stepped more hunters, 4 of them this time. Their armor shimmered, their weapons glowing. The girl pulled Daniel behind her. Stay down. The hunters spread out, their eyes fixed on her. One of them raised a weapon that hummed like a screaming engine. Another spoke in their harsh language, but this time Daniel could hear the venom. Traitor. Her jaw tightened. Her voice was calm, but her hands trembled. They will not stop. To them I am already dead. And you? She looked at Daniel. You are worse than dead. You are proof. Proof of what? He asked, his voice cracking. That your kind cannot be broken. Before Daniel could ask more, the hunters attacked. The first charged with a blade, swinging low. She blocked with her forearm, sparks flying as metal struck glowing skin. She twisted, snapping his arm in one swift motion. The hunter screamed, collapsing, but the others moved faster. 2 beams of red energy blasted toward her. She leaped aside, but one struck her shoulder, burning deep into her flesh. She gasped, silver blood spraying across the trees. Daniel's heart exploded with panic. She was strong, but she was bleeding too much. She couldn't fight them all. Not alone, something inside him snapped. He grabbed a sharp stone from the ground and rushed forward, yelling. One hunter turned too late. Daniel slammed the stone into his mask again and again, wild and desperate. Sparks burst with every strike until the mask shattered, revealing a twisted alien face beneath. The creature fell with a sickening cry. The girl spun, her golden eyes wide. For the first time she looked shocked at him. But there was no time. Another hunter raised his spear, aiming at Daniel's back. She screamed his name, though he never told her his name. The sound froze him. How did she know? Before he could think, she leapt between them, her glowing hand ripping through the hunter's chest. The forest lit with blinding light, and the alien collapsed in smoke. Now only one remained, the leader. He stood taller, his armor blacker, his weapon sharper than the rest. His mask turned toward Daniel, then toward her. You betrayed us for him, the voice growled. Her breath came heavy. She straightened, even as blood dripped down her body. I betrayed no one. I chose. The leader raised his weapon. Then you chose death. He lunged at her faster than the others. She blocked, but he was stronger. His blade cut across her chest, throwing her back against a burning tree. Daniel roared. He didn't think. He didn't plan. He just ran at the leader with all the fire inside him. He swung the broken pipe again, screaming until his voice tore. The leader caught it with one hand, twisting it out of his grip like it was nothing. The alien raised the blade high to end him. But then, golden light exploded. The girl rose from the ground, her body burning with a strange glow. Her wounds still bled, but her energy surged like a storm. Her voice cracked like thunder. Not him! She struck with both hands, slamming into the leader's chest. The forest shook, the ground splitting. Light erupted, blinding Daniel's eyes. When the brightness faded, the leader's body was gone, only ashes drifting in the air. Silence. Only their breathing filled the night. Daniel's legs buckled. He collapsed onto his knees, staring at her. She stood trembling, her skin glowing weakly, her golden eyes dim. She looked less like a warrior now, more like a wounded soul barely holding on. You saved me again, Daniel whispered. Her lips curved, weak but real. No, you saved me. When you fought with nothing but stone, you reminded me why I turned. Daniel's heart pounded. He should have felt fear. She was alien, dangerous, unpredictable. But all he felt was a strange pull, a bond forming in the fire of battle. Above them, the ships roared again. More were coming. Dozens this time, her eyes widened. They will not stop. They will burn this forest to the ground just to find us. Daniel swallowed. His voice was low, shaking. Then where do we go? She looked at him with something close to sorrow. To the one place even they fear. Daniel frowned. And where is that? She leaned close, her golden eyes burning into his. Her whisper was heavy with secrets. Your city's ruins. Beneath it lies something they have hidden. Something they fear you will discover. If you do, the war will never be the same. Daniel's chest tightened. He didn't know if he believed her, but he felt the weight of her words. This was bigger than survival. Bigger than him. He stood, picking up his pipe again. His voice was steady now. Then show me. Let's end this. Her golden eyes glimmered in the firelight. For the first time she nodded, not as a captor, not as an alien, but as an ally. Together they vanished deeper into the night. While above them the hunters screamed for blood, and the real hunt had only just begun. The forest finally broke open. Daniel and the alien girl stumbled out of the burning trees and into the broken skeleton of his city. Towers that once touched the clouds were now twisted metal. Their glass shattered across the streets like fallen stars. Smoke rose from craters where alien fire had struck. The city was dead, silent, but its silence carried whispers of pain. Daniel froze, his chest tight. This was his home. He had played here as a boy, laughed here as a teenager, dreamed here as a man. Now it was gone, only ashes and ghosts. His throat closed as memories stabbed at him like knives. The alien girl stopped beside him. Her golden eyes scanned the ruins with strange sorrow. I saw this from above. I thought it was victory. But now, she lowered her gaze. It looks like murder. Daniel clenched his fists. That's because it is. For a moment, neither spoke. The wind carried only the crackle of fire and the distant hum of alien ships searching the skies. Finally, Daniel turned to her. You said there's something hidden here, something they fear. What is it? Her eyes glowed faintly in the smoke. A chamber, older than your city, older than your world. My kind found it long before you were born. They buried it under your streets, afraid of what you might discover. Daniel frowned. You're telling me there's something under this city that could change the war? She nodded slowly. Not just the war, everything. Before he could ask more, a deafening roar shook the ruins. One of the alien ships swept low, its searchlights cutting across the shattered buildings. Daniel grabbed her hand and together they dove into the shadows of a collapsed subway entrance. The air inside was damp and heavy with dust. Broken tiles crunched under their feet as they descended. Rats scurried across the rubble, startled by their presence. The deeper they went, the colder it became, as if the earth itself was holding its breath. At last, they reached a metal door half buried in concrete. Strange symbols were etched across it, glowing faintly in the dark. Daniel reached out, but the girl stopped him. Don't touch it. It only opens for those chosen. Daniel raised an eyebrow. Chosen? What does that even mean? She looked at him for a long moment, then whispered, It means you. His heart skipped. Me? I'm no one? I'm not special. Her golden eyes locked onto his. You fought with stone against blades. You stood when every other human knelt. You confuse me, Daniel. You confuse all of us. Maybe that is why the chamber calls to you. Before he could argue, the ground above them shook. Dust rained from the ceiling. Alien voices echoed from the subway entrance. They were being hunted still. Daniel's breath quickened. If it's me, then what do I do? The girl stepped aside, her face pale with exhaustion. Touch the door. If I am wrong, it will kill you. If I am right, it will kill them. Daniel stared at the glowing symbols. His body trembled. His mind screamed to run, but his heart told him this was the moment. Slowly he reached out. His fingers brushed the cold metal. The symbols flared to life, burning bright blue. The door groaned, then split open with a roar, releasing a rush of air that smelled like storms and ancient dust. Beyond lay a staircase spiraling down into darkness. The girl gasped. It chose you. Daniel's legs felt weak, but he stepped forward. Then let's see what they're afraid of. Together, they descended. The chamber below was vast, carved from black stone that pulsed faintly with energy. At its center stood a structure like a cocoon, smooth and glowing with shifting colors. Strange markings covered its surface, alien yet somehow familiar. Daniel's breath caught. What is that? Her voice was hushed, trembling. The seed of dawn. My kind discovered it buried deep in your world. We studied it for centuries, but we could not open it. Some said it was a weapon. Others said it was alive. All we knew is that it only responds to humans. Daniel turned to her, his voice sharp. And that's why they're afraid. Because it's not theirs, it's ours. She nodded. If you open it, they cannot win. Before Daniel could take a step closer, a thunderous crash shook the chamber. The hunters had found them. Dozens of armored figures poured down the stairs, weapons glowing red. Their leader shouted in fury, "Stop them! Kill the human!" Daniel's heart pounded. He looked at the seed, then at the alien girl. She was bleeding, swaying on her feet, but her eyes still blazed. "You have one choice," she said, her voice strong despite her wounds. "Open it, or die with me." The hunters charged. Daniel sprinted to the seed, his hand slamming against its surface. The markings flared, light surging into his veins. Pain seared through him, burning like fire. He screamed, but he did not pull away. The seed responded, pulsing brighter and brighter until the chamber glowed like a newborn sun. The hunters stopped, shielding their eyes. The alien girl fell to her knees, whispering, "It begins." The cocoon cracked open. From within came a figure. Not alien, not human, but something in between. Tall, radiant, its eyes blazed with both gold and blue. Its voice shook the chamber as it spoke words neither Daniel nor the hunters had ever heard, yet both understood. The time has come. The world chooses. Daniel collapsed, his body trembling, his vision fading. The last thing he saw was the hunters stepping back in fear, and the alien girl smiling through her blood. And then everything went dark. The chamber pulsed like a living heart. Blue light ran through the walls, shaking dust from the ceiling. Daniel lay on the stone floor, his chest rising and falling, every muscle weak as if the seed had drained him. He tried to lift his head, but the brightness stabbed his eyes. The alien girl crawled closer, her golden eyes wide with awe. Before them stood the being that had emerged from the cocoon. Its form shifted like smoke and fire. At times it looked human, tall and strong, with eyes like Daniel's. At other times its skin shimmered silver and gold like her people. It was both, and yet neither. The hunters who had stormed the chamber stopped in their tracks. Their weapons trembled in their hands. For the first time, Daniel saw fear in their masked faces. The being raised its arms and its voice rolled through the chamber like thunder. "You have woken me." At last, Daniel forced himself to his knees. Who are you?" The being turned its shifting gaze toward him. Its voice was not one voice, but many, male and female, human and alien, blending into one. "I am what was left behind. A memory, a weapon, a choice." The alien girl pressed a hand to her bleeding wound, her voice breaking. "The seed of dawn. It's alive." The being looked at her, its expression unreadable. Alive, yes, but bound, waiting for the touch of humanity, waiting for him. Daniel's throat tightened. "Why me?" The being stepped closer. Its light washed over him, filling his veins with fire. "Because your kind was made to resist. You break chains no matter how heavy. You fight even when you should kneel. That is why my creators feared you. That is why they buried me." The hunters snarled, raising their weapons. "Kill it!" their leader shouted. But when they fired, the beams of red energy vanished in the light, swallowed as if they had never existed. The being lifted a hand, and the hunters were thrown back against the walls like rag dolls. Their screams echoed until silence fell again. Daniel's skin crawled. This was power beyond anything he had imagined. He looked at the alien girl. She was shaking, her face pale. "What is it?" Daniel whispered, her golden eyes flicked to him. "It is judgment. For both of us." The being's voice shook the chamber again. "Your war is not just between humans and her kind. It is older, deeper. Long ago, my makers tested your world. They feared what you might become. They tried to erase you, but you endured. That is why I was hidden here, to see if one human would awaken me." Daniel's heart raced. "And now that I have?" The being's eyes burned with fire and storm. "Now you must decide. I can destroy them all. Every ship, every hunter, every enemy that burns your skies, or I can burn both sides and begin again." The words crushed Daniel like a weight. He looked at the alien girl. She was staring at the being, her lips trembling. "If it burns both sides, I die, my people die, and yours too." Daniel's fists clenched. His mind screamed to say, "Destroy them." But his heart twisted. This alien girl had saved him again and again. She had turned against her own kind for him. Could he choose her death so easily? The being lowered its head toward him. You are the chosen. Speak and it shall be done. Daniel shook his head, sweat dripping down his face. I can't choose like that. There has to be another way. The being's shifting eyes locked onto him. Another way always carries another cost. Before Daniel could answer, the chamber trembled. A massive explosion tore through the subway above. The ceiling cracked, rubble crashing down. Alien soldiers poured in. Not just hunters this time, but an army. Their armor gleamed crimson, their weapons glowing brighter than the sun. The girl gasped. They've sent the warlord. A towering figure stepped into the chamber. His armor black as night, his eyes burning red. His voice shook the stone as he pointed at the being. Destroy it, and bring me the human. Daniel's blood froze. This was no ordinary soldier. This was their leader. The being of light spread its arms, shielding Daniel and the girl. Its voice thundered. The warlord comes, but his time ends here. Blinding light shot out, clashing against the army's fire. The chamber became a battlefield of gods, stone shattering, air burning. Daniel grabbed the girl's arm and pulled her behind cover. She coughed blood, her voice weak. Daniel, if the being destroys everything, it may not spare you. You have to speak. You have to control it. Daniel's heart pounded. Control it? He didn't even understand it. But when he looked at the being, he felt something in his chest. A connection like their energy was tied. Maybe it was true. Maybe it was waiting for him. The warlord roared, his weapon tearing through the light. The being staggered, its glow flickering. For the first time, it seemed vulnerable. Daniel clenched his fists. He could not hide anymore. He could not just be ordinary. He stood, stepping into the chaos, shouting with all the strength in his lungs. Stop. The chamber froze. The light ceased. The army halted. Even the warlord turned his burning eyes toward him. Daniel's voice cracked but did not break. This war isn't yours to decide. It isn't theirs. It's ours. Humanity's. If I am chosen, then I choose not destruction, but resistance. You won't erase us. Not them, not her. Not me. The being of light turned toward him. Its shifting face softened. So be it. Power exploded from its body, spreading like a wave across the chamber. The army was hurled back, weapons shattering. The warlord staggered, roaring as cracks split his armor. Daniel fell to his knees, his strength gone. The alien girl caught him before he hit the ground. Her voice trembled near his ear. You didn't destroy us. You saved us both. But Daniel's vision blurred. The last thing he saw was the warlord rising again, his eyes burning hotter, his roar shaking the world. The war was far from over. The chamber was breaking apart. Stones fell from the ceiling. Cracks spread through the floor, and the glowing seed's energy pulsed like a storm trying to burst free. Daniel could barely stand. His chest burned, his veins still alive with the fire of the being's light. The alien girl clung to his arm, her golden eyes dim but unbroken. Silver blood dripped from her wounds, yet she refused to fall. Across the chamber, the warlord rose from the rubble. His black armor glowed red, cracks spreading across it like veins of fire. His eyes burned with rage, brighter than the flames of the collapsing city above. He pointed his massive weapon at Daniel, his voice echoing like thunder. Human, you are nothing. I will break you before your world, and then I will tear her apart. Daniel's hands trembled, but his heart did not. He stepped forward, putting himself between the girl and the warlord. You've tried to break us before, and we're still here, the warlord roared, charging with the force of an earthquake. His blade, glowing like molten metal, came down with the weight of death itself. Daniel closed his eyes, but the being of light appeared in front of him, catching the blade with one radiant hand. Sparks and fire exploded, shaking the chamber. The being's voice thundered. Your reign ends now. The warlord pushed forward, his strength terrifying, but the being pushed back. Light clashed against fire, shaking the chamber like the end of the world. Daniel staggered, his body weak. He realized something. Without his will, the being was fading. Its glow flickered like a dying flame. It was not enough to awaken it. He had to guide it. He had to stand. The alien girl grabbed his hand, pressing it to her chest. Her heartbeat was fast, desperate. Her voice shook. Daniel, don't let go. If you fall, it falls too. You are the anchor. Her words lit something inside him. He forced his shaking legs to stand. He looked at the being and shouted with all his soul, Fight with me. The being roared, its light blazing brighter, surging with Daniel's will. It struck the warlord with a shockwave that hurled him across the chamber, smashing him into the stone wall. But the warlord only laughed, rising again, his armor cracked, but his fury alive. "Do you think light can destroy me? I was forged in war. I'm war." He raised both hands, unleashing a storm of red fire. The blast tore across the chamber, ripping stone apart, burning the air. Daniel and the girl were thrown back. The being staggered, its body flickering like fading stars. Daniel coughed, his chest aching. He knew the truth. The being was not limitless. It needed him, but he was just a man. How could he fight a god of war? The girl crawled beside him, her face pale, her voice breaking. "Daniel, listen." The being responds to choice. "You must choose now. End him, end them all, or—" She swallowed. "Save more than just yourself?" Daniel's eyes widened. "What do you mean?" Her golden eyes shimmered with tears. "You can kill the warlord, but if you let rage guide you, the being will not stop there. It will burn every ship, every soldier, every alien, including me. Or you can choose mercy. Restrain it. Spare those who surrender. Spare me." His chest clenched. He looked at her. This alien who had saved him again and again, who had betrayed her own kind to stand at his side. He remembered her first strange words. "Why do you resist? Why not kneel?" And he realized this was not just about war. It was about proving humanity's heart. The warlord charged again, screaming. His blade raised high, ready to end it all. Daniel stood tall, raising his hand. The being mirrored him, its light blazing with his will. Daniel's voice shook the chamber. "I choose hope." The being caught the warlord's blade again, but this time, instead of destroying, it absorbed the fire. The red glow faded, swallowed by light. The warlord staggered, roaring in disbelief. Daniel stepped forward, his voice steady. "You wanted me to kneel, but I won't. And I won't let hate decide our future. If humanity is strong, it's because we rise even when broken. And if you call that weakness, then you'll never understand us." The being thrust its hand forward. A wave of light erupted, not of destruction, but of pure force. It hurled the warlord into the stone wall. His armor shattered. His body collapsed, motionless. The chamber fell silent. The alien army that had surrounded them froze, weapons lowered. For the first time, they did not advance. They looked at Daniel, then at the girl, then at the being. Fear was gone, replaced by something else. Doubt. The being turned to Daniel, its voice softer now. "You chose mercy. That is rare. That is dangerous. But that is hope." Daniel's chest heaved. His legs finally gave way. He collapsed, but the girl caught him, holding him tight. Her golden eyes glowed faintly, her voice trembling with relief. "You did it. You saved us." He looked up at her, his voice weak. "No, we did it." The chamber walls cracked again. The being looked upward, its body already fading back into light. "The war is not over, but the seed has grown, humanity has spoken, and the universe will listen." With those final words, the being dissolved into radiant dust, scattering into the air like stars. Daniel and the girl lay in the ruins, surrounded by silence. The alien soldiers slowly backed away, carrying the broken warlord's body. None dared to touch them. None dared to strike. For the first time since the war began, the night was quiet. Daniel looked at the girl. Her golden eyes were still watching him, filled with something he had not seen before. "Trust," he whispered, his voice barely a breath. "What happens now?" She leaned close, her voice gentle, almost human. "Now the universe changes. And maybe, so do we." The two of them sat in the heart of a ruined world, but for the first time, Daniel felt something stronger than fear, stronger than war. He felt the beginning of hope.